I am here with Lauren, who is a fellow homeschool mom of three. And this is actually the second interview that I'm doing, but I know you the same way I know the mom who I just interviewed the other day, which is that our eldest kids went to a homeschool art class together. And then, well, do you want to tell the story?
About how I stalked you out?
You're like, who is this girl's mom? I need to find this girl's mom.
Yes, sure. So my daughter had said that your daughter was her best friend, and yeah, that was kind of, she was still warming up to just like, yeah, being in a group setting and making friends. And so I was like, I gotta find mom. So yeah, I was kind of on a mission. And
So
then
good. I love it.
yeah, and then
Yeah, and then since then, so I'll just say Lauren, um, roped me in. Lauren is the extroverted one of our little duo. She I shouldn't say roped me in, I'm kidding, of course, but she, introduced me to kind of a wider homeschool group, and so now we see each other all the time through, both large group things that we do together, and then also we have, like, a mini science co-op, with another family, so I see a lot of Lauren in my life, and, yeah, it's just such a I'm so grateful for it and for your family, and yeah.
me too.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about life before homeschooling, but also like life before kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh gosh, okay.
Where were you? What were you doing?
Okay, well, my husband and I were in New Jersey. We had lived in New York also kind of before that, and when we were thinking like, oh, planning for kids, we decided to move out of the city and move to New Jersey. We were in like North Jersey, and so I was um yeah, gosh, I was teaching at a bar studio in New York City, and I used to teach kids dance classes. And yeah, for a while, I was kind of teaching like anything you could teach a kid. I was like, I'll read a book on that and I'll teach that. So yeah, and then I really kind of stuck with the bar studio for a long time until yeah, I got pregnant and I had gone back to work for a bit when I had my eldest. And yeah, and then I became like got certified to do personal training as I decided to shift that I wanted to be able to be home.
Yeah. I should also say, Lauren's kids are about the same ages as mine. So eldest is 8. Um, middle is she is 6.
She'll be 6 in a couple months.
6, and
Yeah.
then her son is the same age, just a few months ahead of my youngest. So they're 2. Um, so yeah, super fun. Was homeschooling always on your radar, or what was the thing that kind of nudged you in that direction?
Yeah, no, I would say not at all on my radar, to be honest. Like, I mean, I went, yeah, through regular public schooling, um, college, and I just never, yeah, thought of it. I think I started to, I think just having experience, like, teaching kids in the city, like, that was, like, kind of the first time that I started to, like, think about it or just learn. Um it's, like, so ironic because I remember people mentioning, like, "Oh, there's, like, these Montessori preschools," and some of the moms I used to work at the little gym also, I was a program director there for a while, and that was
Mhm.
also in New York, and I remember these moms coming to me and, like, giving me these applications, like these interview packets that I had to fill out. Their kids were like 2, 3, 4. I was like, "What is this?" Um, and anyway, I feel like that was kind of my first, like, reintroduction of, like, "Oh, school. What does school look like now?"
Yeah.
Um, and just kind of, yeah, that competitiveness that I was like, "Oh, this is so interesting." So anyway, yeah, people used to say, "Oh, there's these Montessori schools and they just like let the kids do whatever they want. They could just do whatever and they're so expensive." So that was like my all I knew. And I love now, as you know, I love Montessori. I literally follow the entire Montessori curriculum.
Mhm.
So yeah, totally not on my radar at all. And then um I guess the first time then I had my first daughter, and there was a mom who I met through the Leche League. We had done like our leadership training together and became really good friends. And she was really into Montessori as just like a philosophy of like how to set up your home and just as a philosophy of like parenting and family life.
Yeah,
That was like, oh, a revisitation of this initial thought. And then, yeah, that was what started, I guess I would say, my thought of like, oh, there are other ways of, yeah, being educated. Like and then that kind of opened my world to like, oh, there's all these other different philosophies.
yeah, yeah, that kind of so kinda going off of that, I know from knowing you that you love Montessori. I'm curious first, like, what was it about Montessori that drew you to it? And then also, is Montessori all you follow, or what does what does it look like in your home with like curriculums versus no curriculums versus extracurricular things and all of that? Like, how does your homeschooling kind of all come together, I guess?
Okay. Um,
That's like 5 questions in one,
yeah.
so
um,
So first, what drew you to
what
Montessori?
drew me? Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess I started listening to and reading Maria Montessori's actual books. So there's a lot of translations of like her direct like lectures. And I just loved how she spoke about kids and how they just like come into this world being their own being. And I think when I had my first, that was like, oh, like that's how I felt about her. Um, and I just, yeah, really appreciated like the respect towards kids and that, oh, they're so capable and that we should kind of be their guides. And that just kind of always, yeah, resonated with me. And that I just love the idea of like, oh, we have this adult environment but nothing like, when we have kids, we don't necessarily like, yeah, we get a crib or we do these sorts of things, and I just loved how it's like she literally made it like you brought down an adult world, like, to the kid. Um, so yeah, those were kind of the main points that brought me to it, and then I did start, like, doing those things in my home, like, lowering the pictures to her level, and I just started to be amazed by like, "Oh, wow, she's right." Like, and I would just watch just even as an infant, like the mobiles and, as I've had like more kids and then I did more and more of it earlier on. And yeah, so I've just kind of seen the yeah, that it works and
yeah,
the beauty of it. Um So then, yeah, from there, there's a woman who I still follow, and she was kind of like starting out as, like she started like a monthly membership for Montessori and like bringing Montessori to your home and making it accessible. And now she has like a whole full blown curriculum and courses. So I had done her initial course that was like for the early years, like 2 to 6 years old, and again, I just always loved it, and so I've continued on, and I've done the course for the 6 to 9-year-old. So that is kind of remains my, like, overarching
North Star.
curriculum. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, it does include everything, every subject. As we go along, though, I am definitely, like, pulling from other things just because I have felt like, oh, it is a lot of preparation, and I've done there's, like, a lot of DIY. You don't have to do that, right? Like, you don't have to, but, I in just certain areas, I'm feeling like math or history and things, and I'm like, "Ooh, maybe I want, like, somebody to just tell me, like, as they call it, like, "Open and go.
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna do today. This is what you say." And then, like, I'm just, like, can kinda check the boxes. So that just kinda more so helps for my anxiety, um, and yeah, just my load in preparation. But, um, so yeah, we've kind of got a bunch of, and then my daughters also ended up when we moved here, um, when yeah, so they were like maybe 3 and like 18 months around, and so again, I still hadn't really considered homeschooling. At that point, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna go to some other type of school, like send them to Montessori," or I had just kind of like heard, "Oh, Waldorf, like what is this?" And nature schools and this sort of thing. So the girls went to a little preschool, like a Waldorf nature school. And so then that was kind of like my introduction to Waldorf. So I even pulled from that too. So yeah, I'm kind of always just, like, figuring it out and seeing kind of too, like, I am always hold that philosophy of, like, following their lead, and so, yeah, if, like, a Montessori thing isn't working, then we don't do it, right? Well, okay, let's find something else, so that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
As of
I just have to say, I was thinking about this when you were talking about like lowering the pictures down. And we talked about this when we came back from Japan. And like they have sinks on kids' levels, yeah, everywhere in Japan. So that when kids go to the bathroom, like they just get to go wash their hands afterwards. It's not like hiking them up on this thing or, you know. And then my kids came back and they were like, all the sinks are huge. And I was like, you're so right.
Yeah, it's like these
And I
little
remember we had that
humans,
conversation about, yeah, it's like,
they don't exist. It's kind of
yeah,
bizarre, especially
yeah.
when you're traveling. It's like, where in the
So,
airport do we go?
yeah, so interesting. So, yeah, I do. I mean, you have, I mean, just being around you, I feel like I've learned a lot about Montessori and being in your home, and it's cool to see and be a part of. Um, okay, in terms of um, the day to day, do you feel like, okay, so you like subscribe to this philosophy of Montessori. Do you feel like you had expectations for what it would look like? And how does the day to day like measure up, I guess, to like the expectation?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like, yeah, I imagined my beautiful shelves, right? Like, I mean, you see the beautiful Montessori schoolrooms. And I mean, I had even gone that we were still in New Jersey and I went to go visit one. And it really is like magic. Like I got to see a class, like 20 kids in action. And I was just like, wow. I mean, just so beautiful. So, yeah, it's like in your own home, like, it's very different, and then you see then social media, of course, people do have their homes that do look just like straight out of, like, the textbook or the fancy classrooms. So there's that, like, I feel like the visual aesthetic that I yeah, and I've had to really let go of, especially as the kids get older too, like, um, you've seen our toy art room.
It's amazing.
Like,
I love it.
but it is, they have kind of free reign in that space there because they're always making art and things. And so, yeah, but I'm like, oh, it's not supposed to, not supposed to, look like that. Um, so yeah, a space is kind of one. And yeah, I mean, I guess sometimes just like the idea that, oh, everything's just going to go, smoothly and we're going to do these lessons and one after the other all in one chunk sort of, thought like, oh, we're going to wake up. I mean, I still think this. I'm like, this is what, like, it's just not working that way. We're going to wake up in the morning and we're going to sing songs and we're gonna bring out the materials. Like, um, yeah, I mean, it's so funny to think about too because I am like, "Oh, yeah, I put a lot of pressure, unnecessary pressure." I'm sure we all do, right, on ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that we have certainly like, I'm finding, like, within that image, right, like, the pieces that we take and work, and when I, like, think back on our days, like, mindfully, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, like, that is there." Yeah, it's just not picture perfect, right? Which is, yeah, totally fine.
Which is life. Yeah.
Yeah, which is like, did I answer your question? I feel like
Yes, totally.
I did. Yeah.
When a homeschool day is going really, really well, what does that look like? Like, how does it feel in your body? What's happening? Like, is it, for example, like maybe everyone gets outside and that's what like makes the day, or maybe there is like a lot of patience for lessons, right? Or whatever it is. Like,
Hmm.
when you think of what your favorite homeschool days are, what are they kind of made up of and what is the feeling?
Okay. Yeah, I feel like like cozy is like the word. Like, yeah, just like the days that we do, like we're like start like reading over breakfast and we all like end up on the couch reading. And yeah, when there's just like a lot of capacity from everybody, like especially my youngest too. Like I have a 2-year old, and so sometimes it doesn't look like that. But yeah, I just kind of when everyone has like that spaciousness to like we're together and maybe they're each kind of also doing their own thing. But yeah, so reading is a big one. I feel like reading aloud. And then yes, like getting outside. So I do love when we like, yeah, follow up, like maybe we'll do like a couple lessons and then go out, then like get outside for like a bike ride or scooter ride. Like we love going around the neighborhood. And um yeah, I guess I want to say like, yeah, in my body, it's like that I feel at ease, like, that there's breath and um yeah, that there's just joy and I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, all good. Makes sense to me.
Mhm.
Um, okay, and you maybe touched on this. It might have to do with a 2-year-old, but what part of homeschooling do you feel like stretches you the most?
Yeah, I think when it's like when everybody is needing something in the same moment and like I can't, yeah, like I'm being torn and it's kind of like, oh, who do I stay with? And then, right, then it's like maybe I'm in the middle of a lesson and like that gets kind of interrupted. And then like we were in a flow. And, it's like, okay, maybe I'm with my oldest, and then one of the younger ones
Mhm.
like needs me, and then I do need to be pulled away. Then she's like, and she's gone, and then it's like, whew, trying to come back to that space is feels impossible sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that is when I feel most like, oh, because then I do, and then I end up feeling, like, guilty and, like, tense, like, "Oh, I feel bad, like, we were doing this lesson and now we got interrupted, and is this good, good for her or or I
Yeah.
can't pay attention to the youngest." Like, then sometimes I try the reverse, like, "You need to wait," but it's like, realistically, like, that isn't, yeah, I'm like, "He's 2."
Yeah.
He can he can wait the shortest
They
amount
wait
of
for
time.
no one.
They wait for no one, he has the shortest amount. So yeah, I feel like those are the moments that definitely, yeah, tug
Yeah.
the most, and I feel like I'm still trying to figure out, like, "Oh, how do we come back without it
Yeah.
just having a a breakdown?"
Or do you even try?
Yeah, come back. Yeah, yeah, like, that's I'm like, "Just let's go outside."
Yeah.
That's been my thing now, I'm like, "Let's just go out." Like, "Let's go outside or let's just go do something to, like, kinda mix
Shift
it
the
up."
mood. Yeah, for sure. Do you feel like you have changed through homeschooling in the last several years that you've been doing it? And if
Yeah,
so, how?
I mean, I think it has just like refueled like my love of learning. I
Mm,
am kind of constantly fascinated, like, wow, like I don't remember a lot of the things that I'm doing with the kids. Um, and it has continued to like shift my perspective also of like, oh yeah, like if I learn math this way, like the Montessori beads, like I don't know, it's just so beautiful to me. And I'm like, oh, I just, yeah, would have had, feel like I would have had a different experience. So I think a lot of that in a way, it's like, it sounds kind of selfish, but it, it feels like healing to me.
no, totally.
Um, and yeah, I just feel like I've found so much more wonder like in nature and wanting to be outside and like wanting to actually learn like what is that what is that bird?
Yeah,
So I think that's been really interesting. And yeah, just like wanting to read a lot more. Um, and I think just my capacity for um I don't think I do very well with like change or big change. Like I have learned that about myself, but I think that this has really like opened my capacity to like, okay, we got to go with the flow and lose some of those perfection tendencies very slowly. But I
yeah,
see that like shedding away a bit, and that's a gift to see because I see it like oh in my kids like
yeah,
those tendencies which that can be used I think in a good way for motivation, but sometimes it's just I it was not healthy it was not helpful for me in a lot of situations.
yeah. That was actually it's like a perfect tie into the next question, which is basically just, do you feel like you have had to unlearn things in order to teach your kids the way that you want to? And coming from like a public school background, dance background, I mean, you were kind of alluding to this like, yeah, professional, maybe perfectionist type stuff. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that and like what that unlearning process has been? And maybe even if you feel open to it, like are there things that have kind of helped you like unlearn? Like are there things that have kind of opened your eyes to like, oh, maybe yeah, there is another way of doing this or a way that would be gentler on me even, you know?
Right. um yeah. I got distracted by the ending questions and I forgot
Oh,
where you started.
it's okay. I also go off on tangents, you know me. So what does Amanda call it? It's like the quantum leaping. I just
Yes.
like leaped from one thing to another thing. Um yeah, I think just the question of like what are some things that maybe you have felt like you've had to unlearn
Uh-huh.
in order to be a homeschooling mom.
Yeah. I mean, I did in the beginning, honestly, what really helped me is like unlearn just like my whole idea of like, yeah, what an education should look like. Is because yeah, I thought like you have to go to school and you gotta get good grades and like that's the only way to do it. But I read a ton and I just yeah, just a lot of very different points of view and like learning about the history of our education system was like really eye-opening, kind of pretty mind-blowing, honestly, and that was also like, wow, like, this was created actually for kind of an entirely different purpose than
Yeah.
I'm thinking it is and that we need to do. Um, and and then I think really mostly is just been doing it. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still unlearning and yeah, kind of constantly reminding myself like, "Oh, this is okay, like, this doesn't need to be this super perfect linear path." Um, I've done too like, I just feel like a lot of, like, reflection too on, like, what my experience looked like and I mean, I did certainly have the feeling, like, once I got out of college, I felt very like, "Well, what happens now?" Like, I thought, like, I did all the things, really in my head, I was like, "I've done all the things." Like, I got the good grades, I did the major, like, I didn't major in dance, like, I wasn't like, I did the thing, and, like, now what happens?
Yeah.
And so there was this sense of, like, loss, and I feel like I did so much. I felt like I learned so much more once I had majored in, like, communications for advertising, and so my first job, like, when I, you know, got a job, like, with my degree was, in media buying. So I was basically buying commercial space for TV, and even that, I remember being like, "I learned none of this in any of these classes. Like, I have no idea how to do any of this. I don't understand." I barely even knew what I was like, "What is media buying?" Like, "I'm getting this job, like, what is happening?" And I went to college for this, right? So there was just yeah, I just feel like so much of my yeah, just kind of looking back, and then um, yeah, really exploring. I like to say that I Cinderellaed my way back into, like, dance, like, was what I just was always really my passion, and, my coworkers were like, "You're" what do they call it? What do you call it when you, like, have a night job? Um, I don't remember, but anyway, there's,
I forget what it's called too, but
going
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
but but anyway, it was always kind of known, like, oh, like, I was off, like, trying to do something else, and so I just think I shifted to so many different jobs after that, which was neat, and I learned a lot, and so I think just looking back on that, it's like, "Oh," and 2, even that, like, renewed knowledge of, like, "Oh, I can still keep learning," right? Like, I don't it doesn't need to be done. I don't need to think like, "Oh, there's one job, like, what am I gonna be in my when I grow up?" And that's it, like, that can be ever changing. So, I just always have to kind of, like, come back to just, like, my own yeah, experience to remind myself. And having community, like, I just feel like talking like, having you and our group, um and hearing how everybody is doing it differently, and I think that too has just helped and, like, and how kind of everybody has come to where they are, like, that in itself too has been like, "Okay, I'm, like, yeah, unlearning a lot of these things to make it look like what I want for my kids."
Yeah.
And yeah, even with Montessori, it was like, "Oh, I love this thing, like, this is what I want it to be," and there's been some and it has been, like, hard to be like, "Oh, but this is what I was gonna do, like, this is what I said I was gonna do," and even I find this, like I still pay this, like, monthly membership, I'm like, "Am I even really using this?" But there's, like, this part this part of me that's like, "Oh," but I'm, like, holding on to even that idea, right? Like, that's the new idea. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's just a slow yeah, kinda ongoing process. I'm like, "Oh, let
Yeah.
me try
It
something
makes sense though, and I do feel like I mean, I use a different kind of, like, overarching curriculum that I also, like, am not doing all the pieces of, and I basically do these, like, seasonal check-ins with it, like, "Okay, what do I want to include and whatnot?" And I was having the same thought, like, "Am I really gonna buy the thing again next year that I'm, like, not really using?" And part of it, sometimes I'm like, "Is it like a safety net? Is it, like, what is it?" But I also think it can be really helpful, just in terms of, like, an overall, um, I don't know even know what would I call it? Like, an overall landscape, I guess? I don't know.
right, or guide, like, that's
Guide,
the
yep,
line because it does hold, like, this overarching picture. So, yeah, even if I don't
yeah,
do every single thing, like, it still guides me in that, "Okay, and then where can I pull from
yeah.
somewhere else to get that?" Is
But then I go, like, "Is that school?"
well, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So, like,
Right,
I'm
right.
like,
No,
is
it is
that
not.
is that the thing? Is that the thing that I'm, like, so used to that I had to find something to, like, kind of
To
recreate that in
yeah,
my own way, you know? Like, I find that so interesting to think about,
right.
and I don't know,
Yeah.
probably in
I mean,
some
I am so curious too, like to hear like the other moms that you interview, and I'm supposed to actually um meet with someone who she's like the mother of like our mother's helper, and she has gone like totally like full unschooling, like really. I mean, her kids are a bit older too, But yeah, I'm always interested to hear that piece too. And I know she has like kind of talks about, and that's what I want to hear, like all of her unlearning. Like
Tell
she was
her
a
to
public.
give her my phone
I know,
number. I'll
yeah, well, we
interview her. Yeah.
should. Yeah. Cause she like, public school teacher, like all the thing, all the way through all the things. And so because there are times where I'm like, "Oh, man, like, maybe I am gripping too tight." Like, there are certain areas or times when I see, like, yeah, maybe when we're struggling with a lesson, or I'm like, "Ooh, this same thing seems to just always feel hard." And yeah, is it right? Is it too structured? Is it that, is it yeah, I don't know that, like, I'm on looking, I don't know what it is, a pressure of something. So yeah, I still feel like I'm always thinking about even more like, yeah, letting go of those sort of curriculum, schooly ideas, I guess.
But it's also interesting because I feel like it changes, like, moment to moment, day to day, you know? At least I'm finding that in my own experience. It's like, some days the structure works beautifully, and then you could try that same thing on the next day, and it's like, "Nope." And it just makes me think about how, like, we expect ourselves. Actually, a friend of mine, Laura, well, I told you, I was talking to you about the other day, like she's getting really into cyclical wisdom and just the idea that like women have these 28 days and everything's different throughout the whole cycle. And we shouldn't expect ourselves to always be like working within the same capacity. Like the reality is we have very different capacity on different days. And it made me think about that in relationship to moms who are homeschooling and their own individual capacity in that 28-day cycle. But then also, regardless of whether, not, I mean, yes, it's different male, female with cycles, right? Um, but even just thinking as like humans, we have different capacities on different days. And sometimes I find myself, you just kind of go on this assumption that like, oh, if this worked, this is going to work on another day, and the reality is like every day is different and sleep is different and moods are you know what I mean? Like there's so many factors. And so an unschooling day here or there might be awesome. And then
Right.
maybe also there's days where like they really, really need the structure. And I think it's like, can we be okay with both? Like I think so often we
Right.
hear of the parents who are like only unschooling or the parents who are using curriculum. And I think all of it is wonderful. Like if just homeschooling works, amazing.
Right.
If the curriculum's working, amazing. And also there's like this huge gray area in between of like
Mhm.
kind of all of it. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. And I think that is really, yeah, what I'm like wrapping my head around is we are doing all of it. And it's
Yeah.
hard not to, because I feel like we're so I don't know if just like as humans or if it's like a American cult, like our culture, but oh, what do you do?
Yeah.
What correct? You know what I mean? Like anything that we kind of talk about, it's like everyone, like you're kind of a, um, there's like the expectation to give some sort of like specific response.
Label.
Like even when you meet somebody, oh, what, like somebody just asked me the other day, it's like, oh, what do you do? And that's always usually like, well, what's your profession?
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. So I think that too, like in homeschooling, it's like, oh, or, I personally feel like it's like, oh, sometimes like I have to categorize myself, right? And oh, I do this.
Yeah.
When yeah, it is just like we homeschool.
Yeah.
And that means like that means so much. And no, every single day looks very different. Like,
Yeah.
it really does. Like, I was thinking, I'm like, "Oh, Eva's probably gonna ask me, like, what does our rhythm, like, what is our schedule?" And I'm like, "Really? Yeah, it's just go with the flow a lot of the
Yeah.
times, you know?"
Yeah.
Um, and with that, I'm like, "Wow," because that really is life as an adult. Like, yes, maybe you do have the standard 9 to 5 job, but I think so many jobs are, what were the career landscape, like it's not really the same. It's not factory work a lot of the times, right? And so Yeah, I don't know, I just think it also, like, is like, the kids are living real life, like,
Yeah.
they are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, one more thought and then I should probably ask the next question, but I just love this conversation because it just makes me think about too the community piece of homeschool. I feel like because of those labels, it's like, oh, there's like the Waldorf group and then there's like the Montessori group and
Mhm.
then there's the Christian homeschoolers and the secular homeschoolers and like even within this, counter culture thing,
Right.
there's still, like, culture, like, there's different
Right.
cultures within the homeschooling community that I think can be sort of intimidating because I do think you kind of feel pressure, at least I did in the beginning, to sorta, I wanted to, like, find my people, right? And then I had this realization of, like, actually, I don't need to find my people. I mean, I did, thankfully, but, like, I don't need to find people. What I mean by that is people who think exactly the same way I do or are following the exact same things that I'm doing because that's not life. Like, your
Right.
kids need to be exposed to people with different ideas, and they need to be challenged with people that might not, be their BFFs forever because that's life. It's just like being in the
Right.
world.
Right. And
So,
yeah, I think that has been the beauty of, like, seeing the growth of our, like, larger group is we all really do very different like, very different,
yeah.
so that's kinda neat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, okay, just a couple more questions. I think, let's see, I have two more for you. And then if there's anything you want to add, please feel free. When things feel hard, like when homeschooling feels hard, um, or you're having, doubts of what you're doing, which we all do. I'll just say that right now. We're all like, are we doing good? Is everything good? What do you return to as like a grounding practice for yourself? Like what does self-care for you look like as someone who's like with her three kids the
Mhm.
majority of the time?
Yeah, um, I mean, I have been trying it's even just it's just been a few minutes in the mornings, but I have been, um yeah, and, like, meditating for a few minutes in the morning, just getting up before the kids. Sometimes Adric is with me, or my youngest is with me, because he wakes up yeah, I guess I mean, yeah, when I'm, like, do you mean, like, when I'm, like, in the heat of it?
Sure. I mean, either it could be like you always inspire me because you go to like several movement classes throughout the week. So it can be like kind of zoomed out like that of like things that you schedule. But also I would love to hear like when you're about to throw something like
When I'm like, "Everybody's going to school," and
yeah.
my Um, yeah, so my overarching, I will say, yes, movement is huge for me, so I really do, like, usually, I will, like, kinda sneak off after dinner, and I come and I work out, so I'll do some sort of, like, weight training program, or I'll do, like, an online bar class, and, yeah, I try to take dance classes consistently. I've been doing this community, like, women in dance, which is like an unchoreographed, and that has been I actually was thinking the last time, I'm like, "I think we should do this together." Like, I wonder if she would do it for our mom group. But anyway, it's just like this time, like, I need to move those I'm just like a physical person. I mean, I think we all are, but as humans, but I just, like, need to move that energy and those feelings because I do get very wrapped up in my head and, like, I go I go
Chorus.
to, like, a real dark place really fast, so in the heat of the moment, like, I will say, like, I am really working on
Yeah.
like, I'm actually on like, I'm really, like,
Mhm.
still finding the things that work for me,
Yeah.
um, and right now, it's like I kind of just have to, like, step away, and I've been
Yeah.
with myself in the mirror to just, like, whew, come back into my body because it's like, yeah, I feel like I, like, almost have, like, an out of body experience where I'm like,
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the self-care piece is really interesting, and I almost kind of yeah, like that word I think has gotten,
I know, I don't even like saying it.
I
I was
know,
like,
but I
"Can
don't
I
know what
phrase it
else
in
to
a
say
different way?"
either, like, I
Yeah.
give you the word to say, but, um, yeah, so I think honestly I've just been finding, like, I just need some time, like, actually alone and quiet, even if it's just a few minutes to, like, ground me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, last question. Uh, Knowing what you know now and where you are now in your journey, what are some things that you wish yourself, like, a couple years ago would have known? Or some things that you would tell that younger version of yourself who was, like, just embarking on the journey?
Oh, well, one, just do it. Just
Yeah.
go for it. I agonize,
Yeah.
like, um,
But you did,
but I did it.
and
So
are doing it.
we are doing it. Um, I'm like, oh, these are things, yeah, that I, yeah, still need to hear, I guess. Like, it's too early. You need to talk to me like 10 years from now. But give yourself grace,
Mhm.
some kindness. Um, and yeah, I think just be open, like just be, like be curious. Like the whole premise of homeschooling is to foster that for me, like to foster a love of learning. And yeah, I think remembering that, like, yeah, I need to do that too, because as I learn about, oh, there is all these different philosophies or these different curriculums or different ways to do it, like, I have to keep that curiosity and love versus like, what is the right, perfect thing,
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Thank you so much. It was so great, and you're so eloquent, and it was such a
Oh,
lovely
good.
conversation. Is there anything you wanna add or anything I didn't ask that you think would be, fruitful? It's okay if the answer is no too.
No.
Alright. Well, thank you.